Friends, this is Cammie again, and today I'm working on a special project. Today actually happens to be mine and my husband's 26th wedding anniversary, and although today is our anniversary, in a few days we're going on a little weekend getaway to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is where we actually were at on our honeymoon. So I wanted to do a little special something for him, and he loves beef jerky. So I wanted to make some beef jerky. And what I bought was a flank steak, because that is one of the pieces that of beef that tends to make a good amount of jerky and just has a really good flavor. So the first thing I want to do is to cut my meat on against the grain. And what I did was I put it in the freezer for just a little bit so that it could kind of get partially frozen, and that makes it a lot easier to actually slice. So I'm going to start on that, and then once I have my meat cut, then we're going to just come up with a marinade. I'm kind of winging it. That's usually how I do when I make my marinades for the beef jerky. I kind of just think of the flavors that I think would taste good together, and I kind of go from there. So I'm going to just take you along on the ride with me as I come up with something. So I'm going to slice this, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so now I've cut all of that up, and just a word of warning, once it's been in the freezer, boy, it really hurts your hands trying to cut in these thin strips. And I did just want to show you also that I did cut it relatively thin, because you want thin pieces so that your meat will be able to dehydrate evenly and soak up all of that goodness. So what I've decided to do is I'm experimenting, like I said, and I'm going to try 2 different recipes. The first one is going to be what I call a sweet teriyaki, mainly because my main ingredient is going to be some teriyaki sauce, some brown sugar, and then I'm going to add a few other things. So the first thing, let's see, I think maybe about half a scoop of my brown sugar we'll put in. Maybe make it a whole scoop. So we'll try that. And then I have this teriyaki sauce. So I'm going to pour some of that in there. Just about like that. I don't know. Maybe a cup. Maybe. And then, let's see, maybe about a teaspoon of garlic. And like I said, I'm just making this up. I'm just kind of going by things that I've tried before and things that I'm thinking would probably taste good together. And we'll find out together, we'll see. And then, and of course, Rosebud's in. You can hear Rosebud again. I'm going to get her on camera one of these days. And then, let's see, this is a half a teaspoon of onion. And then, just to keep this very simple, just to round it up, just a little bit of the liquid smoke. Not too much. Maybe about a teaspoon or thereabout. And then we want to kind of get all of that mixed together, get that brown sugar to where it's dissolved. And then we're going to take 1 portion of our meat and just put it in there. And we're going to mix that up. And then what we want to do, once we've got this incorporated really well, we want this to really just get into every little bit of the meat, to break down and to really incorporate well. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours. Overnight is better, but at least 8 hours, so that that can just really incorporate into the meat and get the good flavor all through before we dehydrate. So while that is there, then a spicy conglomeration. And I think one of the main ingredients to this will probably be some of my Worcestershire sauce. So many different ways to say that. So we'll pour some of that in there. Maybe about a half a cup to a cup, somewhere in that area. And let's see, we always need garlic, good old garlic, so we'll put a teaspoon of garlic and a half a teaspoon of onion. Sometimes it's just really fun just to be able to get into your kitchen and just kind of just make up stuff and see what happens. And then, since it's spicy, we want to add a little bit of our crushed red pepper, but I don't want too much. So maybe about 1/4 a teaspoon, maybe. We'll go with that. 'Cause I don't want to, I just really do not want to do too much. And maybe a little bit of chili powder. Maybe about 1/4 a teaspoon of that. Or, I don't know, maybe 1/8, just enough to get a little bit of the taste in there. And of course, paprika always is a good addition too. And we'll go for about 1/8, or about 1/4 for that too. And then, kind of the secret ingredient is going to be some of this chili lime. It's Trader Joe's chili lime seasoning blend. If you haven't had this stuff is so good. It really is really, really good. And I'm going to take about a half a teaspoon of that and just add that in there too. Okay, like I said, this is a conglomeration. It really is a conglomeration. And then we're going to add some of our, what did I do with my liquid smoke? There it is. We're going to add a little bit of the liquid smoke just to give it a little bit of that smokiness. Oh, and you can't forget a little few shakes of black pepper. Okay, let's close that up. And get that kind of incorporated. You know, I might add a little bit more of my Worcestershire sauce, just because I want to make sure I have enough liquid. There we go, just a little bit more. And then we're going to add the rest of our flank steak in here. And we'll incorporate that really good. And then, like I said, both of these we're going to put these in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours, and then we'll come back, and after that, then we'll get them in the dehydrator. I appreciate you all coming along for this. I'll see you in a bit.
So I didn't record actually putting the beef jerky in the dehydrator, but I do have an Excalibur, and I had it on the setting of jerky. So it took mine quite a while. I think that you would need to you would just need to decide when yours look done according to your settings.